That was fancy.
Monday night. It's fancy.
We gotta do this every week.
We fancy like Applebee's up here on Wrestling.
That's right.
Monday
no
night.
Chili's here.
No Chili's. No Chili's. Even though I do love me some Chili's, but no,
actually,
we're fancy like Applebee's.
Awesome Blossom.
Oh, it's so bad for you. It's good.
So good.
Kind of like this podcast. So bad for you. It's good. That's right. The bar was not set very high, so we are going to either limbo under it or we're going to just track and field dive right over it. It is Monday Night Raw, the go-home show to Survivor Series. Oh, how the mighty have fallen. And I'm talking seriously about one of the big four. That's right, the big four. Survivor Series this Sunday. Go-home show tonight, Monday Night Raw from Indianapolis, Indiana. We'll get to all that. It's all part of tonight's podcast here on Wrestling Inc., presented by Manscaped. Got plenty to talk about with Manscaped. New product alert, too, want to let you know about. We'll get into all that. But first, let's just do normal, proper greetings. Ladies first. Issa, are you signing autographs? Are you being booked for meet and greets? I mean, you're like the next to Hangman Page. You're the star of Full Gear, I think, right?
No, I'm not doing any meet and greets yet.
Yet.
Follow her on Twitter.
We were talking offline, but I popped Issa when you showed up on screen. That was awesome.
It was a fun show. It was a very fun night overall.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Raj, how are you?
I'm doing well. We're going to New York next week. First time my daughters are going to New York. Well, hopefully, Issa will be able to see you. Yeah, looking forward to it. And I'm excited. And not sure yet if we'll be going to Survivor Series. This build has sucked. It's for a Big Four, it does not feel like a Big 12. I mean, it has, in my opinion, the least anticipation of any pay-per-view I've seen this year. Forget the Big Four. I mean, completely of any WWE pay-per-view.
Yeah, it was my last tweet. Ever since they moved the pay-per-views to Peacock, where there's no incentive or consequence to good or bad viewership, it is rinse repeat. But the ironic thing to that is the builds to these shows, except if it's a stadium show, the builds to these shows are sucky. But then if you actually do stumble upon and have nothing else to do and you watch the pay-per-views, the action is very good. It just doesn't mean anything the next day.
Yeah, WWE pay-per-views usually over-deliver, I feel like. Especially the B and, C shows. I thought Crown Jewel was one of the best pay-per-views they've done in a long time. The pay-per-views do usually pay off, but the build to this has just sucked. And, I have a connection with Survivor Series. It was the first pay-per-view, me and my buddy in 1989. We had to go wash cars to earn money to pay my parents, so they let us order it. And it was the first pay-per-view we paid for. And Hogan and Jake the Snake and Demolition against Zeus and the $1 Million Man. It was, I don't know. I just have a connection with it. So it sucks to see how far down it's gone.
Issa, what's your first Survivor Series memory?
Actually, I haven't been watching wrestling for too long, but Survivor Series was one of the ones that I watched when I got back into it back in 2014. It was when Sting came out. I remember Sting coming out and I was like, what is he doing here? And that was fun. But I feel like that's when Survivor Series might have started going downhill.
that was the last.
Yeah, that was the last normal one, right?
Because I think Goldberg and Lesnar happened the year before that. I think, right?
We don't talk about that. No, it was the year after, and we don't. Oh,
it was the year after. But that was a big match. I mean,
yes, it was.
Yeah, it's. I'm with you there, Raj. I mean, Survivor Series '95 was the first pay-per-view I ever attended. I mean, and that whole show is not crazy memorable, but the Brett Diesel match is memorable. It was the first table spot I can recall WWE doing, and there's a lot of history to Brett and Diesel from that last 9 months. So I just think about that, and I'm like, and then I look at what we have here, and there's stars. Roman Reigns is a star. Big E is a rising star. But just beyond them being stars, it just doesn't mean anything. Brand supremacy. What the hell is brand supremacy?
Right.
It's just bragging rights. That's all this pay-per-view is now. That's what they should call it. See, I'm a fan of it. I think we have gotten some amazing matches from the, SmackDown versus Raw perspective, especially when Brock Lesnar is holding a belt. But it doesn't feel like Survivor Series. You could call it anything else and put it on a different time of the year.
And there's no stakes. So, there was that year when Raw won every match except for the kickoff, but they completely ignored that. But there was no stakes to that. There was no storyline thing where SmackDown felt like they had to change or do something or bring someone from Raw. It just means nothing the next day, and that's the problem I have with the bragging rights thing. Is when there's no stakes, it just means nothing.
Right.
Only way Survivor Series would matter. I mean, you could have stakes. WWE at least as long as Vince's in reign. You're never gonna have a forbidden door, so it's not like you can have a WWE AEW. It's not like you can have like an actual true Survivor Series showdown of true brands. Because that you'd believe in brand supremacy there, right? It doesn't matter now. So we'll see, but we're gonna talk about it and see what they line up for us. $9.99 coming from the stellar Justin Lopez. If I didn't live walking distance from Barclays, I would totally skip the show. I definitely wouldn't have traveled to it if I were in a different state. I'm with Raj. My first memory was Taker's debut. Yeah, I mean, Raj, you're flying several time zones.
Yeah, and I'm considering skipping it. Yeah. My daughters have never been to a wrestling event, so it might be cool to take them, but it's like the build has been so bad. It's like, do I spend one night in New York doing that or doing something else?
I mean, there's tons to do.
There's tons to do. The Sea Glass Carousel.
You have to go there, please. Especially because you'll be with the girls. You have to. That was the first thing I messaged you.
Yeah.
Wait, so it's an accident that you're in New York at the same time Survivor Series is happening, or were you originally going for Survivor Series?
No. It's an accident. We're going for Thanksgiving week. So the girls are off. So, yeah.
Okay, I was gonna say, like, if you booked all this to go to Survivor Series, and this is how bad the build has been, it's got you to decommit. Like, holy hell!
No.
Krana Shaw, $2. God, Raw sucked. Tony D'Angelo, right, Issa?
Tony D'Angelo will win every match, and his own brand supremacy will reign if he was in Survivor Series.
Can they coexist in brand supremacy?
Can they coexist? That's
the favorites.
Can they coexist at all?
It's the favorites of WWE. Brett Murphy, $5. Ooh, yeah. Happy late birthday, Macho Man.
The great Macho Man Randy Savage would have turned 69 years old today, so I'm paying a little tribute. My favorite of all time.
Ooh, Raj, the cream rises to the top.
Cream rises to the top.
69.
That's amazing.
Something like that. All right. First, before we get to Survivor Series, or before we get to Raw leading into Survivor Series, let's take a few news headlines on Wrestling Inc. Raj, let's talk Rampage and SmackDown. Both numbers down, right?
No, SmackDown was up.
SmackDown's up. Okay. Sorry, SmackDown. Rampage down though.
Rampage, they did their second lowest audience. It was a weird one because when they announced it, it was like, who's watching this show? You're Orange Cassidy versus Matt Hardy. No offense, Jungle Boy versus Bobby Fish is not really a big marquee match that you're like, shit, I got to change my Friday night plans to watch this show. So it to me, it was just kind of weird for a pay-per-view go-home to have it so weak.
Try walking in the cold streets of Minneapolis to the arena to watch that crappy show they gave us.
Oh, right, you were there.
Yes.
There. And they didn't show you on TV. That made it even worse.
Horrible.
You should have just pull a Raj and you should have just decommitted from Friday night and gone and seen the Minneapolis sights, aka snow.
Oh, what am I gonna see? The Mall of America?
Hey, there was a big jungle gym in the middle. But
I didn't like the show. I can understand why it did that kind of viewership. And the fact that it was live too. If it was pre-tape, I can see them putting this kind of card, but this was a live show. And Orange Cassidy and Matt Hardy is not the last thing I want to see going into a pay-per-view, and it bothered me. Not just because of their life, it just bothered me. It goes to show you how they treat Rampage, because the go home segment in Dynamite was perfection, but then they did that on Rampage.
Yeah, it was just kind of a nothing show, and you would have thought maybe they do a Daniel Bryan Miro, some sort of something in ring where they do some sort of face-to-face, but it was just an afterthought. So yeah, only did 515,000 viewers on TNT, the lowest ever for a live show, second lowest in the show's history. Did a .20 in the 18 to 49 demo. Again, second lowest that they've ever done. So I mean,
obviously we have the luxury of armchair booking after the fact. Tony Khan and crew have to put it on and make the best judgment. Looking back, though, I mean, Dynamite's always so stacked with what they do on Wednesday nights. They probably could have held the contract signing between Omega and Page to be the last thing on Rampage. I thought that would have been a really appropriate way to go in. I mean, it's something that you're just promoting a contract signing, so it is what it is. But that would have been a lot more appropriate to be 24 hours before their big fight, and it would have certainly been I'm sure it would have done a better number than what this just did.
Agreed.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's the thing, and that's the balance. Like, do you want your best segments to be seen by the most people? Then you do it on Dynamite, or do you want to just promote your Friday night show, which isn't going to do the audience that Dynamite's going to do?
But to Issa's point, it's a live. You're live in the same city that you're doing the pay-per-view the next night. You got to start off hot to do a mediocre show like that on Friday. I mean, so that's certainly one where you load up a little bit on your Friday night.
Yeah, no, I agree.
And if you want people to start watching it, you have to involve those kind of segments that nobody's expecting you put on Rampage. And over time, people will start tuning in because you don't know what to expect. Right now, people just know it's an easy show with a couple of good matches. They after the Punk return, they haven't done anything on Rampage that has moved a storyline.
Well, they did do the CM Punk Eddie Kingston promo, and that was great.
That was great. Agreed.
But that was about it. It's a very skippable show, and they're not doing anything to change that.
Yeah. All right. So Rampage down, SmackDown, as Raj noted, up. So Raj, give us the details on what SmackDown's doing.
So it did 2.1 million viewers. It was up 5.3% from last week. Actually, it was only up 0.53. It was up 5.3% from the overnights, but it was up 0.53 from last week. So it was about the same. It's on the lower end of what they've been doing since fans returned, but still, it did a 0.56 in the 18 to 49 demo. And it was number one. So
nice.
There you go.
It was all Roman Reigns putting on that crown. Guarantee you that.
There you go. Well, and that's one thing we always bring up when people are like, "Oh, Rampage was number one for its time slot," or SmackDown is number one for its time slots. These TV stations are not putting their A shows on a Friday night.
Right.
You look at what Rampage is up against, and you would hope that they're not losing to what they're doing. SmackDown, same thing. 2020 and Shark Tank and are not really things that young people stay at home for. So, yeah.
Well, young people, old people, we have some news for you. Whether you're
real quick, Blue Bloods, in terms of total audience, was the highest rated show of the night. That's the Tom Selleck show. I don't know if you guys have ever seen it.
No, this is the first time I hear about it.
I've never seen it either. But they talk about 18 to 49 being so important to ad rates. But what do you think makes more money with ad rates? Blue Bloods or SmackDown or Rampage?
SmackDown.
Mm-hmm. I would assume
Blue Bloods.
Really?
Yeah.
That show's been around for a while too.
Those scripted shows, even though they don't do the 18 to 49 demo, they get paid a ton of money in those ad rates.
That's crazy.
I was gonna say maybe because those shows can get picked up in syndication, but that wouldn't have anything to do with it.
Right.
No. Yeah.
I don't know.
It's just more prestigious, I guess. I don't know.
Whatever. Tom Selleck, he still fears Roman Reigns. All right, so let me
and it's funny because that show is up against Magnum PI on Friday nights, so it's kind of ironic.
Well, whether you're Roman Reigns, who's head of the table, and Issa sitting at that table, whether you're Raj in New York City debating whether or not he's going to go to Survivor Series, whether you're sitting at Casa de LaBar for Thanksgiving, they're going to go around, they're going to go, what are you thankful for? And you're going to go, this holiday season, I'm thankful for Manscaped. That's right. I'm giving thanks to our friends at Manscaped. You know the deal. If you don't know the deal, I'm going to tell you about it. If you do, well, you can just enjoy because you know that I've already helped you out. The global leaders in below-the-waist grooming have the Performance Package 4.0, and we're hooking you up with it. That's right. Save 20% plus free shipping at manscaped.com with the code WINC20. We're helping you out. Performance Package 4.0. It is the perfect package for your package.
No pun intended.
Yeah, no fun. Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer, the Weed Whacker ear and nose hair trimmer, the Crop Preserver ball deodorant, the Crop Reviver toner, performance boxer briefs, and a travel bag to hold all your goodies. Their stuff's comfortable. They even have T-shirts, and they're very comfortable. Love it. The Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer features a cutting-edge ceramic blade to reduce the grooming accidents thanks to their advanced skin-safe technology. Also gives you the ability to turn on the 4000K LED spotlight. I mean, you got a spike Jones, that stuff, get the right angles, get it all the precision. You got the 4000K LED light, making sure you don't do something you're not supposed to do. Precise shave, and it's waterproof. Performance 4.0 package also includes the Weed Whacker to chop your worst weeds up in your nose and your ear. The nose and ear trimmer uses that 9,000 RPM. That makes Tim Taylor grunt. 9,000 RPM motor-powered 360-degree rotary dual blade system. Provide proprietary skin-safe technology, which helps prevent nicks, snags, and tugs in those delicate holes. And you can't forget the Manscaped liquid formulations. They're like the pumpkin pie after Thanksgiving dinner. All right, you can't live without it. Just like you can't live without the crop preserver, ball deodorant, and Reviver toner spray. And new product alert, they just launched the Refined Body Wash 2-in-1 shampoo plus conditioner. Both feature that Manscaped signature scent and will help you unlock the confidence this holiday season. So you can enjoy it. You can gift it for a friend. It's all there. The Performance Package 4.0, great gift. Again, use the code WINC20, save 20% plus free shipping at manscaped.com. We thank them for the continued support of the Wrestling Inc. podcast.
You know, we have a lot of we have Issa on. We have a lot of women in the chat. I'm sure they can all attest that you're going out to if you're going out to dinner with a guy, you don't want a giant hair sticking out of their nose. You use the nose trimmer. You be well groomed. They'll appreciate it. It just does everyone a world of good.
Yes, and shave your balls just in case the day goes well.
Exactly. And have them smelling well.
Also, that shirt reveal, Justin. Bravo.
There you go.
Right.
That was.
little wardrobe not malfunction.
He got me beat. Well, I got the boxers.
We don't need to see. I think it really does sell having Issa on. Like to have a woman on the podcast who can like attest and you know, because this is also for the women watching and listening. We thank you. I'm speaking just as much to you as I am a guy because you can buy this for your man. So like, it's all there. The code.
If you don't know how to give the hint, just go ahead and buy it. Give it to him. You know, just be like, hey. If you can use the code WINC20, it's good for any gender for anybody, and you'll get the 20% off and the free shipping. If you have to, just buy it. Put the stuff in his stocking. He'll get the hint. And if he doesn't get the hint, you should probably just move on anyways.
At that point, who wants smelly balls?
Not me.
You don't want to deal with that. So
I was trying to find smelly balls to Raw segue. Couldn't.
It's tough to do.
Couldn't do it. Okay.
So Rey Mysterio.
All right, Indianapolis, Indiana. Here we go. Monday Night Raw. Big E kicking it off, cutting the promo. It's not just about title versus title Roman Reigns. It's not just about brand supremacy. You touched my family. Now I got to beat your ass like you stole something. That was the words that Big E said before he calls out Kevin Owens as well. He's got the problem with Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens says he's gone bad. He's going to be the liar and bad guy that everybody is calling him. Perception is reality. If that's how he's going to be perceived, that's how it's going to be. And Big E, Issa, he hit Big E with the comment. Big E, the blood is on your hands. Everything I do, you're responsible for. Issa, are you buying into KO, I guess, going back to heel? Perception is reality. I'm going to be the guy you want me to be?
Yes, I like Kevin Owens as a heel more. I thought his run as a babyface worked during his feud with Roman Reigns, but after that I thought he was becoming very stale, so I like giving this twist. I hate that it happened after he lost, because I feel like if you do a turn, people should not be losing. But regardless, I do like it. I hope it goes somewhere. I love the fact that Big E has so much to worry about at the moment. As WWE champion, that's the way it should feel. Everybody should be coming for you. And he has Roman Reigns to worry about. He has Kevin Owens. He has Seth Rollins. I appreciate the fact that they're building multiple storylines for the main champion.
Raj?
You know, I felt like there was an opportunity lost here. Like, even if Roman Reigns can't make it, have him on the Titantron, you know, have him on the big screen cutting a promo. This is the go-home show, and Roman Reigns has not cut one promo on Big E that they've shown on Raw. This is your biggest match on the show. So I just feel like, again, it just feels like a complete afterthought. But I thought Big E was good here. There is something I feel like they need to do more with Big E, because I feel like he doesn't feel as big of a star, as not even close to Roman Reigns. And I feel like they need to, I don't know what that is, but they need to kind of make him feel like a bigger deal. I'm sure he's losing to Roman this Sunday. We'll get into the Survivor Series predictions later, but there's something I feel like they need to do more with Big E.
I mean, look what ended up main eventing the show. Should have been your WWE champion, and it wasn't. To your point.
Yeah. Right. It should have been him against one of the Usos. Really.
Right.
You're building Survivor Series. That's.
Well, they decided they were going to drag the Usos and all this stuff out right here. So we have KO and Big E, war of words. Big E tries to kind of chase down KO. Usos jump him. Out comes Riddle, just Riddle, to then even the odds up to 2-on-2. So now we have a tag match, but it's just quickly then thwarted by Seth Rollins, who's on commentary, who gets involved. Then Randy Orton comes out, so huzzah! It's a 6-man tag. Who would have thought that?
Imagine that.
I mean, just I don't know. I get that like they have just Riddle come out, so now it's just Riddle and Big E. So it's 2-on-2 versus if both Riddle and Orton come out, the baby faces are outnumbering the Usos 3-on-2. But to avoid that, just have Usos and Rollins all come out first, have all the heels come out, and then just get to the 6-man tag. This was just a very obvious low-hanging attempt of we just got to kill some segments here. So how can we get to commercial breaks? I don't know.
37 minutes, I believe, this whole thing went on for.
Really?
By the time the next match came on, it was 45 minutes into the show.
Yes.
And this is my problem with Raw. I don't care how good a match is. It doesn't. The whole thing doesn't need to go 45 minutes.
Not at all.
Keep them shorter. Don't have them go through a commercial break. Get more people on the show. Guys like Ricochet. All these guys that are like MIA. Give them squash matches. Do more. It'll feel a lot faster. But instead, you got 45 minutes basically in this one segment, which is just ridiculous.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, unless you are Manscaped groomed and Blue Chew fueled, nothing should be 45 minutes. Like, that's a ridiculous for a weekly 3-hour show to be occupying 45 minutes with that, basically that one story. I mean, and I agree, Raj. Like, I like the Vince Russo kind of formula. Quick, urgent. You're much more likely to, retain your jaded viewers who have seen and can predict what's going to happen. You're much more likely to retain them and draw in new people if you keep it quick and, a little more, unpredictable versus this formulaic, 45 minutes to basically just tell a story of Big E's fighting Roman Reigns, who, like you said, can't even be bothered to show up.
Yeah, there's people in the show that could have used more time. There's people that weren't even seeing. You had this Shinsuke Nakamura and Damian Priest match has gotten no build-up. They announced it on social media and put a video package thrown together today. So it just feels like you're wasting so much time, and other people could use that time.
Yeah.
For sure. Hojo to go Belinsky $5 says the way KO is being pushed, he can't be leaving. I don't know if I buy into
Dean
that.
Ambrose was being pushed a lot, before he left. Who else left recently? Daniel Bryan was in the main event of WrestleMania.
Yeah, I guess Matt Hardy was kind of they just kind of floundered around with Matt for.
But even then, when he was leaving, then he had the big angle with Randy Orton. He was getting killed every week, but he was still more featured than he was before
that is the way that WWE's operated, especially since AEW's been a thing. Is rather than just letting a guy be out of sight, out of mind, especially because social media these days, people never really can be out of sight, out of mind. You can always drum up a buzz and trend. WWE's other way to go about it is, okay, let's just try to devalue this person as much as possible in the eyes of the audience by having them lose or look ridiculous. So, Hojo, I don't know about KO being pushed. I think, let's take a look and see what his actual win-loss. I mean, he's going to win later on here tonight, as we'll touch on. But really, let's look on how he's presented in the big angles overall, and we'll see.
This was his first singles win in months.
Okay.
So,
wow.
And I
since
think
September. Since September.
And I think there's also a point, too, with these. I mean, obviously, again, all the people we named that are now in AEW, we all know that they would leave. I think there is a certain phase. Right now, WWE might still be in the phase with KO where they're holding out hope that they are going to keep him, if they do want to keep him. So they're maybe giving him a little hope. Okay, we're going to have you beat Finn Balor tonight clean, or we're going to have you do this. And then once it gets to a point where you realize you're not getting him back, well, then we start seeing the different booking.
Yeah. Hojo to go Bolinsky saying, Bryan wasn't seen for a couple of months when he left. Actually, when his contract was up, was that weekend he wrestled Roman Reigns in the main event of SmackDown.
Yes.
So he
wasn't seen after that. That was his choice and taking his time negotiating with AEW, I would assume. He didn't even have a no-compete. So that was his choice to not be seen.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll the Kevin Owens story, certainly one of several more we'll be watching personnel-wise coming up.
DTA podcast bringing up Malachi Black was just being pushed before he left WWE. So was Keith Lee. Sometimes these releases are, who knows?
Yeah.
Right.
We'll see. Ultimately, though, in the 6-man tag that happened, Seth Rollins gets the win. He gets the pin on Riddle. We also later see little issues with Riddle and Orton, or not so much issues, but just more of Daddy Orton kind of giving the lecture.
It's my favorite nickname for Randy Orton.
Papa Orton.
That one.
Papa Orton.
No, Daddy Orton. Daddy Orton,
right.
Please.
Daddy Orton giving his lecture to Stoner Son. Giving him the lecture on a rhetorical question not to answer. So we'll keep an eye on that. Because, I mean, hey, we are coming up on Royal Rumble season. That's the time where you start to, if you're going to split teams, Riddle, Orton, almost AJ, that's when these times start to happen. So.
And Riddle's what, 35, 36? It's not like he's pretty old.
Yeah.
Is he? And I'm turning 34 next Monday. I'm like, is he that old?
I'm 3 years away from my viewership no longer mattering, so I got you guys beat.
That's a great way to put it.
I know.
That's a great way to put it.
Doesn't matter if you watch or not anymore.
They're like,
That's sad.
Yeah. As long as you buy tickets. Well, Daddy Randy, I like that one too.
Raj, you'll always your opinion will always matter because you have the power. You control the lever to one of the biggest wrestling sites in the world. So your opinion always going to matter. You could dictate a lot of things.
I got to pull myself off though. Like you don't want some old guy on there.
As long as you don't become Vince, as long as you don't become out of touch with the website business, I guess. I don't know.
That pyro is too loud.
As long as you don't instruct like an age edict of like nobody at this age can strike a key on my website.
To be a writer, you've got to be 18.
All right. Up next, we get Bianca versus Tamina. I don't remember last time Tamina had a singles match, but she's up against Bianca. This is not a squash match, as you might think, just based upon where the two are in their regularly weekly presentation in WWE. This is, Bianca had to work her a little bit. She does show off her power, gets the win here. But yeah, I mean, Tamina gets a competitive match, and Issa, I mean, Bianca, she's over with this crowd. This crowd I was watching. What do they stand up for? What do they make some noise for? And between her charisma and sassiness, and then just her brute strength that she always shows off with the athleticism, she's over.
Yes, Bianca is over, I believe, everywhere she goes. She's getting some of the best reactions that I've seen, and I love seeing her against Tamina because Tamina just looks so much. She looks as strong as Bianca, so it allows her to show off her strength a lot more. I just didn't think it made any sense. We haven't seen Tamina on TV for how long, and now she's gonna show up. Whatever. We gotta build Bianca back up and give her some wins. I understand that. I just didn't think it made sense. But overall, I like the match. I love seeing the reaction for Bianca. I think she's a star.
Yeah, I think the idea was, since Doudrop is her feud, and she's a more physically imposing wrestler, to have Bianca against a physically imposing wrestler. I like this. I thought this was what it should be. Short, didn't go through a commercial break, didn't drag. A showcase for Bianca. Bianca looked awesome. She was over. This is what we need more of on Raw.
Yeah, and after the match, Doudrop comes out and says, she could take advantage and attack Bianca after Bianca just had this match, but she's not going to do that. That wouldn't be fair, but she's going to be looking for her after Survivor Series. So all of a sudden, Doudrop, who was once being bullied by Eva Marie, and she was all happy spirit fingers, now she's like menacing, contemplating sneak attacks. You know
what would help her?
Eva Marie?
Eva Marie as her manager.
Go figure.
Yeah, they showed her watching the TV. Have you ever tried watching TV like this?
That looks like an Instagram post.
It hurts your neck. It's tough.
It is.
And why?
It's so unnatural. It just drives me nuts when they do it.
I'm gonna do the show like this.
Which is just all.
Well, now you're just getting people off on side shoulder view.
Me or you? Oh.
Well,
you okay. Definitely you, Raj. Definitely you.
Raj, where's your cat ears and pink top?
I know.
Why don't you have your purple top on?
Yeah, I failed.
He didn't want to match me. We figure we do different colors. We'll match next week.
Next time.
But to your point about the TV thing, I'll give I don't always like to compare because they are different products in a way. But like at least AEW, when they have shown people backstage, they've had enough common sense to show a group of people watching a monitor, because like I think the average person kind of thinks that's probably what, who's standing watching this one TV by themselves, where like
and smiling.
Yeah.
Just like
I don't know. That's one of those little things. That's one of those little things that Vincent is stuck with, of like, this is how we do it here. This is just how we do it here. We have a clean, nice, produced, lit area, and you're going to watch this monitor because you're the person who's of conflict with this other person. But it's just it's right there with the way they conduct their backstage interviews.
Yeah.
Let me come up to you when there's 1 minute left in the show. Final thoughts on the paper. Like, who does that? What this is she's not Bob Woodward. It's the worst journalistic attempt ever. Like, who is this?
Oh my God. Agree.
A lot of things that they need to.
I lost you guys here for a second. Whoa, what just happened?
Whoa.
That's not fun. I was supposed to be in the middle square.
There we go.
There you go.
It's in my contract on the middle square. Okay, Becky Lynch promo. Maybe a highlight here. Becky Lynch promo coming out. Charlotte knows who I am. Don't listen to her. It's not about brand supremacy. So her and Big E both trying to get away from the brand supremacy stuff. This is not about brand supremacy. Talks about it being personal. She's interrupted by Liv Morgan. Liv Morgan and her have a little exchange. Becky did have a video package still ready just in case Liv would come out.
Just in case you brought it up.
And talking about how Liv is, wants to live up to Becky's expectations and what have you. They have a little bit of a physicality. Becky tries to put a finishing move on Liv. Liv is able to counter her. So again, same thing with the Doudrop Bianca thing, kind of teasing Liv Morgan's hanging around and waiting for Becky Lynch. Raj, Becky versus Charlotte. This would be the highlight if I'm in New York, if I'm going to think about going to Survivor Series, because this does not feel like lame brand supremacy. This actually does feel like there's more to it, whether it is well-booked storyline.
What's going on? What the hell is going on? That's not me.
It's not me.
Retribution's hacking us.
Ali.
Yeah, Ali. This feels big. This feels like something bigger than brand supremacy.
And then they screw it up by having Liv Morgan come out. Can't we wait a week on that? Did that have to be on this show? That match is not at Survivor Series, so why not pause on Liv Morgan versus Becky? Just keep it on Becky and Charlotte. And then that's what because by the end, I almost completely forgot about Charlotte, because they went to Liv. I thought the stuff with Charlotte, though, was fantastic. I thought her promo was great. It felt real. That's my kind of wrestling, where you blur the lines like Shawn and Brett, back in the day, CM Punk and Eddie Kingston recently, where you can't tell what's real, where the reality starts and the fiction stops, and I love that, and they're doing that here. And then they went to Liv, and this is no disrespect with Liv, just this was not the week for them to build that feud.
Well, let me ask you this, Issa, based upon what Raj just said, are they introducing Doudrop, teasing that? Are they introducing Liv, teasing that because they need like evacuations, basically? They need third party. How are we gonna, we don't want either Charlotte or Becky to have to lose clean, so we need something that can foil this. Like, is that what are we setting up for that?
I hadn't thought about it until you just brought it up. I was on Raj's side here, thinking, why is Liv out here? I appreciated Becky Lynch say, "Hey, I done this a couple of times. I knew you were gonna interrupt me, so I have a video package." The way that she said that, I thought it was great, because I never think it makes sense that they just go, "Oh, I have a video package," without explaining why. I need to see a clean finish, and if it's not a clean finish, then it needs to be because somebody just loses it and gets DQ. Charlotte versus Ronda Rousey style. I don't know if you guys remember that match at Survivor Series where Charlotte just got DQ and just beat the crap out of her. That's what I would like to see here if we're not going to do a clean finish. I don't want anybody to get involved. This is the one match that I feel has a build-up. Not that they done it, just because of what we know based on the behind the scenes is why we're so into it. But yeah, I can see them doing that, but I'd rather just have a good match between the two of them. We know they can kill it.
Well, yeah, I just think, if there was trouble being on the same page for the title exchange a few weeks ago, and they might be working us, which if they are, great, because we are invested in this and we're more into this than most else. But if there really is some problems, and I think there probably is some root of some just professional whatever. If they had trouble getting on the same page for a title exchange, imagine the conversation that is having to be had by Vince or Bruce or whomever with each of these ladies, and then together of who's going to put who over and how's it going to look. And I got to think, as you're trying to, babysit both egos, personalities who you're going to have for a long term around. Okay, well, let's get somebody involved. Or let's get two people. Let's have Liv tries to foil Becky and somebody from SmackDown tries to foil Charlotte, and we protect both of them.
And Samantha in the chat kind of saying the same thing. Liv will be there to interfere. My only thing is, I don't think they've done that before. Like in these brand versus brand matches where they have someone in the midst of a brand specific storyline interfere. When Roman faced Drew, Brock faced Daniel Bryan, Brock faced AJ Styles. They never really did that. So
no, they haven't.
Yeah, so they kind of leave the matches usually pretty straightforward. So I don't know. I don't see them doing that.
All right. Well, your hook, audience, is to stick around because we're going to end this podcast tonight with our Survivor Series predictions. So we'll see where Raj Giri lands and Issa on who is in fact going to win.
We say you got a lot of fans on here, aka saying you're perfect.
Thank you.
Me and Justin get no love.
I think you're both perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I was fishing.
All right. Up next. Issa, I feel like... Never mind.
No, what?
No.
You got a fan. She's got a fan club.
No, I know she has a fan club. I'm not... It makes me proud. She's taken our wrestling world by storm. It makes me... It
Absolutely.
It really does. And I mean that sincerely. I'm reading all the comments, and I'm like reading the comments. I'm trying to follow my notes, and I'm like, there's comments on all
there
the
we
love.
go again.
Here we go. There's another one. Yeah.
The only one getting love on this chat is Issa.
Well, I appreciate it.
Go follow her across all the platforms. We'll let her do the official plug later. All right, Street Profits up against Alpha Academy. I got a confession to make. I love the Street Profits. Every week I have an anxiety when I watch their entrance because every week I'm like, dude, Montez, calm down. You're going to spill whatever's in your red Solo cup. And then I'm like, oh, yeah, it's probably just a gimmick drink. There's probably nothing in there. But he's bouncing around holding this cup. He's raiding. I'm like, he's going to spill something. You don't want a party foul. That's just my own personal anxiety. Street Profits do get a win, though, over Alpha Academy. Raj, we had American Alpha, which was a great tag team. We had to, obviously Jason Jordan's health got in the way, but even before that, they split that for stupid reasons, for Jason Jordan to be Kurt's son. You have Otis, which was great with Heavy Machinery. We split that, so now we've merged these two. What is this? Otis had great comedy chops. I thought Vince would enjoy having a big, funny, fat guy, but no, he has to serious him up. What is this?
Well, I was tweeting this earlier, too. I just felt like, man, if only that Otis-Mandy Rose storyline played out in front of crowds, right? Like if they could have held it off till now and paid it off, but man, that feels like 5 years ago. The Otis Mandy Rose stuff,
yeah, it does.
And that was last year. I mean, this version of Otis isn't doing it for me. I think Chad Gable's fantastic. So yeah, I mean, as a tag team, they're fine. I just feel like they dropped the ball on Otis because he was seriously before the pandemic caused the shutdowns. He was like the hottest thing in the company, or one of the hottest things in the company.
M21 Issa's hot fire.
Damn it.
Garris Plowman, Issa versus Jack Farmer for Winks. I'll say this: Jack Farmer has a better head of hair, but I think Issa's got everything else.
We got to do Jack and Issa and see if they can coexist.
Can they coexist? Hojo to go Belinsky fight Jerry Lawler. Was that puppies?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I couldn't see what that was before I clicked it. I didn't. Okay. There we go. Issa, go ahead.
Listen, I really have been enjoying Chad Gable. Otis never did it for me, not even throughout the Mandy Rose storyline. So I don't like him, but I like seeing Chad Gable. So if this is how I'm going to get Chad Gable, I'm okay with that. They make a good tag team. They're fun to watch.
They are fun to watch, but I mean, like, I don't know. I guess just because I enjoyed Otis as a babyface. I don't know.
He was good.
He was.
He had a cult following. He was different. He was unique. He had charisma. He has no charisma right now.
No.
He's stoic. He's just there.
Like, I know that his look. I know Vince is not going to send him to the Today Show to promote. He's not going on Fallon to promote Survivor Series like Roman is. But I don't know. He was a Chris Farley. He was fun. He was, I don't know. He was engaging. Why take that away? I mean, he got the win on Money in the Bank for crying out loud.
Yeah. Did you hear the latest Pritchard podcast? Or I guess it would have been a week ago. But
no.
They were talking about when they first, they signed Manu, who was, I think, Sika's kid, right? Or Office kid.
Sika's, I think.
No, because that would make Roman Reigns his brother. So it must have been Office kid.
Okay.
Because Roman Reigns' brother is Umaga. But
my branches of the Samoan family tree get kind of. Go ahead.
But they were talking about how, like, they were signing Manu and they were looking at Sika's, and they're like, look at Sika's kid. This guy is a star. And he was in high school, I think, at the time, or just getting into college. Oh, yeah, he was in college. He was playing college ball. They're like, this guy is going to be a star. And then you see what ended up happening. Anyway, just random. Sorry. I thought it was a cool story.
But no, I mean, I guess the moral of the story is, like, you're never, nothing is ever for sure. Like,
right.
You're just
exactly.
The perspective can change, and it's just a matter of a day. That's the way things happen there. Says Full Gear was great. I was 8-1 overall. Damn MJF.
I went to Full Gear for MJF, so I was happy that he won.
MJF had to win. I felt like he's on such a roll, he can't lose right now.
Agreed.
Donnie Cho, 999. Jack Farmer is the Ned Flanders of Internet Wrestling Dudes.
He paid $10 to say that. I mean, I gotta send that to Jack.
Yes.
Raj, I don't know what Raj. I forget what percentage you get of the YouTube comments, but you just made some money off of Jack Farmer, Ned Flanders. All right, we're having fun here. Veer Mahan is coming to Raw.
Where he's been.
I thought he'd been there. I didn't know he was coming. I thought he's already here. But what is this? What am I missing, Raj? I thought, like, he'd been with Jinder for these. Like, what is this? He'd been there with Jinder against Drew for all this stuff.
They got split up in their draft.
Yeah, Jinder is on SmackDown now.
Mm-hmm.
So this is and then when did they start using the last name for him?
Just like a couple weeks ago.
They just added it.
What? Well, Issa, why does he get a last name? Everybody else gets one named.
Usually it's taken away.
It sounds like you're saying Vince McMahon with your mouth full.
Well, someone said like you're loaded. You're just like,
yeah.
Oh my god. How tremendous if that ever gets revealed as a story is Vince had like one too many gins after the show, was in the limo eating steak and said with a mouthful of medium rare cow in his mouth, goes, let's call him Bear Mahan.
Oh my god.
I was like, oh my god.
So, I mean, this guy, I don't know if you've ever seen the movie $1 Million Arm.
Yeah.
About the Pittsburgh Pirate. It's him, yeah.
That's based on him. Yeah. So he's a legitimate big deal. I'm surprised it's never been mentioned yet. But, yeah, I mean, there's a freaking movie with John Hamm, a Disney movie based on this guy.
Yeah, Corey Graves, who's from Pittsburgh here, who's on commentary. Corey Graves has made little references at times. If you knew what you're listening for, you'd hear him. Yeah. And yeah, it's actually funny when he started. What were they called when they were in NXT? When he was in NXT, whatever they were.
What were they called? Now I don't remember.
Malcolm Bivens was their manager, right? I think.
Right.
When they were down there, I actually had several. Working here in the Pittsburgh sports media, I had several people message me going, is this the same dude that was on the Pirates roster of whatever? And I'm like, yeah, that's the pitcher. That's him. Yeah, I mean, you're right. There's a whole thing here that's been that they really haven't tapped into that they could. And that's even before, can the guy work? I mean, he's kind of been really protected, so I'm in no way to say that he's a good worker or not, but he's got size and a look. And they've obviously been very proactive in the last 10 years of expanding their international appeal. I mean, we have so many performers that are from all across the world, which is great. So that he falls in that bucket as well. So I don't know, but the whole Veer Mahan is coming to Raw. I was like, I thought he's already in the door. He's already got a key to the Raw stadium. I thought.
When was the last time someone got a last name added? I think it's Charlotte Flair, because she was originally Charlotte.
Yeah.
Usually it's taken away, but I cannot think of someone getting a last name added on. And I'll say this about Veer. He has tools. I mean, he can move. When it was him and Shanky, Veer was the one that stood out to me watching him, because he can move. He's agile. He's a big guy and can still go. So, we'll see. I think he's got some potential.
Somebody check his age. Does he fall into the new age thing that we're?
No, that $1 million arm came out like 10 years ago.
Yeah. All right, Nightmare Knee, $5. Raw sucked. You guys rock. Raj and Justin are perfect. Oh, LOL.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, Nightmare.
Thank you.
In the share. Thank you, everyone in the chat. Thank you.
In the share.
Yeah.
There we go. All right.
The listeners of this show are just fantastic. Thank you, guys.
And it's great. We love, first off, all of you that watch. I mean, well, you watch for Issa, but you're watching and you're live, you're engaging. But then, and I always love, and every time I prompt this, I get responses. I'm going to do it again. It's cheap plug. Tweet me at Justin LaBar. Tweet at Raj Giri _303. Tweet at NYC Demon Diva. Like, let me know if you're not watching live because you have to go to bed or something like that. Like, what are you doing on Tuesday? Are you driving to work? Are you sitting in class? Procrastinating? Are you ignoring your boss? What are you doing? Are you going for a walk? What are you doing? How are you consuming the podcast? What's your favorite part? Send it to me. I always love that call to action of, how are we part of your life? What's the deal here? Are you like grooming yourself with Manscaped and you're playing the podcast in the background? Like, what are you doing?
So in my office, it's just me. I have a single office in this office building. It's Regis. They rent out office spaces. So
I used to work for Regis. I was an area manager.
Oh, nice, very cool. So I have a single office, but this was like a month ago, and the guys might be listening right now. So I'm getting coffee, and this guy comes up to me. He goes, "Are you Raj Giri?" And this is at my office. It was so cool, and I'm like, "Yes." And he's like, "Hey, I'm a big fan of the podcast," and I showed him my office, and it was really cool. So, just bumping into you guys, it's always awesome. Love it. It's so cool.
Sergio says, playing Madden while I wind down my evening. That's awesome.
Nice.
Yeah. The best one I have, Raj, is standing and peeing in a bathroom. And there's the plastic divider and somebody looking over, and I can feel somebody looking over, and guy code, you don't look over at a dude unless you're at the bar or at the game or whatever with the dude. You don't look over at the dude that you're peeing next to unless you're having a conversation. I can feel eyes. I'm like, what is going on? And then I just hear, "Hey man, love your podcast." let's wash hands before we shake hands.
Yeah,
we'll move on.
It's like a little headbutt bump.
Yeah,
but not hands.
It really is incredible, though. I've been feeling a lot of love from Wrestling Inc. viewers, especially attending the shows that I've been going to. I always run into a bunch of our viewers that always shout us out. So it's awesome.
Hell yeah. All right, picking back up the Raw, we got Nikki ASH versus Queen Zelina. Queen Zelina is going to get hit the code red after a little distraction with Carmella. Queen Zelina is on a roll, boys and girls.
Yes, she is. Yes, she has 6 straight wins after winning the crown.
She hasn't lost on TV in months.
She went from losing to only winning.
Yeah, she only lost before that.
Yeah.
So, I think Zelina's great. I like it. I just think like what they're doing with Rhea though is just a waste. They don't know what to do with her. They don't get her character. It's clear Vince doesn't get that character. Nikki ASH and her as tag champions. You forget those titles exist. I mean, I don't know.
But I'll be fair, Raj. I don't even know if I was booking Raw, I don't even know how I would use Rhea. I'm kind of baffled to what to do with Rhea, honestly. I mean, she has obviously a different look, and props to her for being. And anybody that's not familiar with this, go Google what Rhea Ripley looked like 4 or 5 years ago. I mean, she had the more traditional long blonde hair. I'll just say traditional look. I don't know. I don't want to classify anything else. But she made a point to kind of like create, her own identity, create something that was different. And like I give total props to that and the courage that takes, but I also don't know, like, she's never impressed me on the mic, even when she was working the Charlotte feud. So leading to Mania. So I don't know. I don't know what to do differently necessarily. Putting her with a superhero wannabe is not the thing, but I don't know what else to do with Rhea. Anyways,
I mean, her song is "This Is My Brutality," and she comes out smiling and just like just all smiles, which right away that doesn't jive. Right. I mean, again, it's one of those things. Like, if we don't get it, that's fine, but they should be allowed to create. They're artists. Let her do her thing. Let her do her promos. Let her take charge of this character. If it doesn't work, then pull it off TV. But at least you're giving it a shot. Because, look, Vince is, 77 years old? Something like that? 76? He's not going to get a lot of these younger characters. And at some point, you just got to sit back and not judge because you don't get it, that it won't work.
Well, Raj, that's the summary of a lot of things with,
right.
with him, right? I mean, like, I don't know.
Got to say, Martin Cassis saying hello, former Lucha Underground champ. Thank you for joining us, Martin.
Thank you. Issa, Rhea Ripley, what's the verdict for you?
I used to love her, and now, and no offense to Carmella, because I like Carmella, I think she's improved, but I felt sadness seeing Rhea Ripley sell for Carmella today. Like, I'm like, this is not where I want to see Rhea Ripley. I would love to see old school Rhea Ripley against Becky Lynch for the title. I think that would be an amazing feud. We haven't seen it, but not this Rhea Ripley. I don't like her in the tag team with Nikki Ash. She's just, this is not hitting for me. I remember when Rhea Ripley came out and called out Charlotte after Charlotte won the Rumble, I felt so hyped. And then everything from there just went. And I don't know what happened. Yeah. But I think you can turn it around. I think you can turn anybody around with the right booking. They've done it time again and time again. It's just how.
No, you're absolutely right about that. That's something I always believe that he says that, like, you can quickly make people forget about the past. If you do 4 strong weeks, if you answer with 4 strong weeks, you can quickly change the tide. It's just they more often than not it is the 50-50. Yes. But as Issa mentioned, Carmella then versus Rhea Ripley follows. Carmella dishing out some brutal super kicks, by the way, and they may note of in the replay. Rhea Ripley hits a riptide, so she gets the win though. So, yeah, we'll see here.
It was 50-50, basically.
Yes.
It was. Issa, question for you from Donnie Cho, $4.99. As a fellow Puerto Rican woman, do you feel an extra affinity with Zelina? Have you met her and know her stories?
I love Zelina, and yes, I do feel a certain... We're biased, right? We're Puerto Ricans, that's how we act. If you have a Puerto Rican up there, we're going to have their back no matter what. I met her, and she laughed about taking a picture with me because I was wearing high heels, and she said absolutely not because she's shorter than me. And I cosplay her before, so she follows me on Twitter because she liked my cosplay.
Very nice.
That's my story.
No, Zelina's, she just she has a ton of talent and was just an awesome manager. So of course they took her out of that role pretty quickly last year. But she was one of the stars of that PC era. Yeah. Where, especially when they had no crowds and those shows. I mean, I try to block them out now, but
we all do.
Yeah, they were brutal. It's depressing thinking about it. But she was an MVP of that era. I mean, she was just fantastic.
She also got the stunt double in the Rock's big production of Paige's life, if I remember right.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
She wasn't a stunt double. She was AJ
Lee.
Mm-hmm. Oh, she played. Okay, that's right. Mm-hmm. I knew she was involved somewhere. Who else? Tessa Blanchard was in there.
Tessa Blanchard was the stunt double.
Paige. There we go.
Yeah.
There we go. Yeah, the Puerto Rican stick. Damian. Where was Damian Priest tonight?
Jinder's the best.
On a video package.
2 weeks in a row, yeah. I mean, he had that little...
He wasn't. Was he? Did he have a video package last week?
No. I meant like 2 weeks in a row he's not on the show. And he had the little thing with, what's his face? T-Bar?
Well, he had an amazing match. The
Yeah.
last time we saw him, they had that no DQ match with the candlestick and the awesome table spot, and then he just goes MIA. That's what they do with. They tend to do that with Priest a lot. He'll be super hot, and then you don't see him for weeks, and then he's super hot again.
And that's the thing with it's one thing if you're a Brock Lesnar or Roman Reigns where you don't need to be on TV every week, and it probably helps you not to be on TV every week because your appearances mean that much more. But when you're up and coming like a Damian Priest, he needs to be on.
And if you think about it, the match that we're getting, Damian Priest and Shinsuke Nakamura, this is a really good match, but the build-up has been horrible. They just announced it on social media today. I can't wait to see this match, actually. I'm more excited for this and Charlotte and Becky than anything else going into Survivor Series, but they've done nothing to build this match up.
Nothing.
Yeah.
They haven't said each other's names. So that's where we're at.
I think if we're gonna make this interesting, what they need to do is put Rick Books on the line. Whoever wins gets Rick Books to like rock
I'd
them
lose
out.
on purpose.
Cozy Jones, Issa, hot. There we go.
Getting jealous here.
All right.
Me and Justin, we wore nice hats tonight.
I'm Manscaped. Good lord, what else do you want from me?
Come on.
What just happened?
Jeez, you know how long that takes to all the deodorant and everything?
Are you guys both wearing the deodorant?
Not tonight, but
Raj, you first.
when I do the whole thing. I do the whole shebang. Yeah, of course.
I don't always groom, but when I do, I use Manscaped.
Absolutely. Every other week.
And Donnie Cho, inverse question for Raj: does the WWE ever mess with your sense of what it means to be an Indian man?
Yeah. Huh. No. You know what? In general, in media and movies and TV shows, up until like the last 10 years, you didn't really see much Indian representation in those fields. I mean, Short Circuit, remember that? That guy wasn't even Indian. It was a white guy playing the Indian guy. So
who was it?
Fisher Stevens is a white guy.
No, what was the character name?
He was the Johnny Five, that guy. Short Circuit. He was like the main. He was like the lead of Short Circuit 2. One of the main guys in Short Circuit 1. He was the scientist. But we didn't have much representation, and so just seeing it evolving, and I was the first Indian guy ever in my high school, and the second Indian person was my sister. So in Virginia. So seeing it evolve, it's I don't know. I think it's really cool, and seeing my daughters, and it's very different for them, and I think it's awesome.
That is awesome.
Just talking about wrestling, as a wrestling fan, did that ever bother you that why do I not see an Indian or gender? I guess gender's probably the biggest name, right?
Kali.
Kali. Oh, sure. Yeah. Okay.
Kali was huge, he's huge in India.
Yeah.
It didn't bother me just because I was used to it in all other forms of media. So
okay.
Yeah, I was just used to it.
Did you obviously it's kind of it's a little bit of a joke that I know you're right. Kali's huge in India, but obviously it's a little bit of a joke of his size is massive, but he's obviously not a good wrestler. He's just kind of an attraction. Right. He's a Barnum and Bailey attraction. Does it ever bother you that he kind of gets shafted with respect from fans, lack of respect from fans?
And this isn't just because he's Indian. I just think in general when people are interested in someone, they don't have to be. Wrestling is not real, so it's a performance. So if people are interested in the character, if Kali is doing great ratings, then yeah, it is a little disrespectful that people just laugh him off when he was drawing big ratings and doing good buy rates. And back then they did the pay-per-view numbers, and those, the first, I think it was the first or second Saturday night's main event was Kali and John Cena when it came back, and it did a big number. It did their best number for that show. So yeah, I mean, if it's undermining the interest that he really did have.
Yeah. Yeah. And of course he was on screen accompanied by Ranjan Singh, who was Dave Kapoor, huge influential figure behind the scenes for WWE. So that's kind of cool to see. I mean, that's interesting to look at. I mean, obviously, again, it's kind of they do a lot better job in the last decade. Again, of we have Scottish, Irish, English, Australia. We have Japanese, Chinese. They have so many different, stars from all around the world. But that's only the last 10 years. That really, prior to that, it was very, very.
I mean, we're just now getting Chinese, and that takes us to this other super chat. Donnie Cho saying, as a Korean man, our representation in WWE has been woeful. Jimmy Yang Wang. Oh, yeah.
Jimmy Wang Yang. Oh,
representation is very important.
NYC Diva, Raj and Justin. Oh, look at the hearts. Look at that.
That's very sweet.
Very nice.
You're welcome.
We got one more here. I am Vish. Ian Vish. Watch Raw on your podcast.
That's rupees. We got India in the house.
Hey.
Watch Raw on your podcast for 6 years in a row now. It's 6 years in a row. Now I hate the Raw, and I don't understand why can't they just rebrand and have an AEW-like environment.
That's not gonna happen.
One of my big problems with Raw and WWE programming in general is it's so overproduced that it's hard to have organic moments when you have LEDs just going off all over the place on the ring posts and on the ring apron, and it's just too much. And at some point, it would be like if the NFL, if they had the goalposts were LEDs, or at some point you got to stop. Once in the playing field, you got to stop. UFC, you're not going to have LEDs in the octagon. At some point, you just got to have it feel like a sport because it's a scripted sport. Otherwise, you just lose that.
But Raj, I get it. But to them, this is all just a visual stage show. How do we? I watch AJ come out. We're gonna get to him in just a second. We watch AJ come out, and like the blue LED of like the glove that comes together. I mean, like we think about like back again. I referenced Survivor Series '95. We go back to '95, Raj, of watching '90. When Raw was the little neon light entranceway, and they came out it's amazing the evolution and how just larger than life it is. But it's like the things that we and the fans here, like the things that bother us. At the end of the day, it doesn't make it to the boardroom. Those things mean nothing to them.
Exactly.
These $10 American, 100 rubies, that means nothing to them compared to what they are basing their decision making, which sucks. It is the ultimate, corporate versus little guy story, but it means nothing to them.
And that's kind of the problem, I feel like. Well, and I don't like doing AEW versus WWE stuff, but in general, you watch AEW and it feels like a scripted sporting event with fans participating, whereas WWE, their shows, it feels like you're watching a performance in a video game setting, almost. You know what I mean? Like
or if you're a fan, you're an extra and you're told what to say.
Right.
You're given a sign to hold up. You're told when not to speak.
Right. You don't get that organic fans going nuts just into the show, and I just think it's overproduced. I feel like they should, and they're not going to. I mean, they're always going up, not taking stuff down. But
of course, we're live on YouTube. We're live on Twitch. Give a Twitch shout out to the real tight spot. Justin LaBar's a badass mofo and so knowledgeable with the biz. Look at that.
You got one.
Got one. We got one. Annie Potts. Ghostbusters. We're all good.
We got one.
We got one.
How stupid is it that they're releasing that movie after Halloween?
Why?
Well, I don't know. It's weird because that movie's been delayed because of the pandemic.
So you can pretty much pick the date, right? It's done.
My guess is there's probably some analytics and focus group that's like, do it around Thanksgiving, people being off school,
holidays.
Work. I'm recording Fallon right now. Nobody spoil it for me. I'm recording Fallon right now. He's got the Ghostbusters. He's got Bill Murray, Ernie Hudson, and Dan Aykroyd on.
Damn.
I'm looking for, like, my wife's like, what, like my birthday's coming up, and she's like, what do you want? Because like I'm one of those people, like I don't really need anything. I buy whatever I need for myself. If there's something I need, I'm like, well, I'm looking forward to a Ghostbusters movie with these guys, and I want to go to the theater and see. I never thought I'd see another. Ghostbusters 2 came out like '92.
Right, and that sucked.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, no, it didn't suck.
It wasn't good.
Vigo was a great heel, But it didn't suck. But I never thought I'd get to see a Ghostbusters again in a theater. So I'm like, I kind of want to see Ghostbusters in theaters. There's a new Scream out in January. I kind of want to see a Scream out in theater. I'm a big Scream guy.
I'm there.
She's never been to New York around Christmas time, so I'm trying to work that out to take her to New York right around Christmas. Like I'm just looking at the little things, and I'm like, so this is big to me in my world right now. Like we got the Ghostbusters on Fallon tonight. That's huge. Roman Reigns is on Fallon, Issa, this Wednesday. That's huge.
I'm trying to figure out how I'm gonna sneak into that building.
How do you get tickets for Fallon for something like that? Because my wife loves Colbert, but I feel like you have to like go there really early in the morning.
No. There's a website. The problem is that if it's already they're free, you can go to the tapings. It's just a matter of whether the date that you are coming. I'll send you the website. I got all the info. You just sign up. If the date is available, they send you the tickets.
Okay. So day of you can't do.
No, you have to. I mean, sometimes they do a ticket lottery, but I think that's more for like SNL. I don't think they do ticket lotteries anymore. Especially since the pandemic, I think they changed the atmosphere. You used to be able to go in at like 6, 7 a.m. and they'll be giving out a handful of tickets to people, but they don't do that anymore.
Okay, so like for Roman Reigns, you would have to find a way to.
Yeah, there's no tickets available. Not that I looked or anything, but.
One of the greatest, the best 30 Rock experience I ever had was I got to go to on NBC Sports twice to talk WWE years ago, and the soundstage that we would record on with Michelle Beadle, it was across the hall from Fallon, and then it was like counter to the SNL stage. And I was there on a Friday, so SNL was doing a dress rehearsal, and Fallon was doing a sound check. And I was like, "Oh my God, this is the closest I'm ever going to be to television iconic, like Late Show and SNL." Like, and I thought the same thing, Raj. I'm like, how does one? Like, I asked like some just run around producer. I'm like, how do you get to go to like Fallon? And Fallon was pretty new to NBC at the time, and they're like, "Oh, it's." It's like a big thing.
I think right now the first show that you can get tickets for Fallon is not until like December something. Like everything else is already out.
Oh wow!
And I was sitting in a green room to go on in NBC Sports. I'm like, you mean you can't even like hook me up? I can't go to Fallon tonight. I'm in New York. Like, oh no, sir, we can't do that. I'm like, what the hell?
Jeez.
This is a bit of a racket. All right, Finn Balor versus Kevin Owens. KO wins with a stunner. Of course, Kevin Owens continuing his heel run, as we talked about earlier. What's Kevin Owens? What's his future hold? Is he AEW? Is he staying with WWE? Right now, it seems like they're trying to invest a little bit in Kevin Owens. They're at least making it seem like such. He gets a clean win on Finn Balor. There was no outside interference, no shenanigans. It was just Kevin Owens getting the better of him after a long-fought match. Raj, are you invested in Kevin Owens in any which way?
I think Kevin Owens is he's best as a heel. Yeah, as a babyface, his lines and stuff, it never connected with me. You need to have him win because he's going after Big E. Day one pay-per-view. I'm guessing that's the main event. I don't know if Seth Rollins is involved. I would think Seth Rollins would be at the Rumble with Big E. You do Kevin Owens. Have Big E basically destroy Kevin Owens, and that's kind of the swan song. I don't see Kevin Owens staying with WWE.
I mean, yeah, I as invested as I am into a heel Kevin Owens, I am more confused about Finn Balor's run. I don't know what's going on with Finn Balor. It seems like they're pushing him. He gets an important win, then he loses, then he has a good feud, then he loses. I don't understand the direction that we're going with him, especially after what happened with the Demon at the TLC pay-per-view. And then, I don't know. I'm very confused with Finn Balor's situation and what does it signify? Because you haven't done anything with him after that Roman Reigns feud other than giving 50-50 booking. But yeah, I do like Kevin Owens. I have a hard time becoming too invested because I don't know if he's staying or going. Once you know certain things, it's very hard to kind of like put it all in and then he might not be here for the long run. I don't know.
Just imagine that Kevin Owens tell-all when he joins AEW and his first podcast is with Jericho. Because that's the formula. You join AEW and Jericho scoops you. Jericho's like the unofficial RF video shoot for AEW.
Owens kind of comes across to me like an Adam Cole or a Danielson, where he's not going to say too much bad, though. As opposed to John Moxley, who just buried the shit out of WWE when he left. But I don't know. I just get the feeling like Owens would probably not be as controversial.
I look more forward to him reuniting with Jericho in the ring as a couple, like as characters, than anything else, because they were my favorites.
Yeah.
I don't think KO will. I don't think he'll bury WWE, but I don't think he'll hold back in just being a guy who loves wrestling that he won't point out. And even Danielson did, and Danielson even said, like, "This is stuff. My father-in-law is the one who has to make the calls and make the cuts." Like, I think he'll at least just say, like, "Here's what just didn't work," or "Here's what I don't understand of what they do." So it'll be.
I'm waiting for Bray Wyatt still. That's the one I want to hear.
Issa, you and I are right there. I'm there too. I think, or I guess Wyndham Rotunda, whatever. I think him with his creative and and all the different resources he uses, the group here in Pittsburgh, the Savini and the group and all that do the mass and all the stuff. Like, I think if he's let loose, if he is truly let loose and given a budget from Tony Khan to like be the creepy character you envision or be the creepy Jekyll and Hyde, I think there's a lot of great potential. So I'm with you. He's probably the one that I'm most on the hook
looking forward
for.
to hear him. Yeah, same.
And the Jericho podcast from
he's kind of the last. Like, I don't think Braun Strowman would be as big of a deal. I don't think Owens would be as big of a deal. I think it's Wyndham.
Yeah.
Yep.
I agree. Donnie Cho, I'm curious of your thoughts on Bruce Pritchard. How culpable is he really in Raw's failings? I always thought he was more of a go-between more than a decision maker.
He follows Vince's instructions. It's not really the product would not be any different if he weren't there. I feel like he's just kind of. Yeah, he's just a soldier.
I absolutely agree. From listening to his podcast, I mean, I think his podcasts are great. They're very insightful to hear whether you like him or not, just to hear his perspective from all the different milestones is fun. I was privileged to get to host a live event that he did here in Pittsburgh for his podcast, and I agree with exactly the way Raj worded it. He's a soldier, and I don't think it's. I mean. People will dumb that down to he's a corporate yes man, but Vince is such a unique guy. Bruce is a talented soldier. He knows how to navigate the waters of appease your boss, who's Vince, but still get as much shit done as possible.
Right.
Still keep as many of the talents willing to talk to you and trust in you as much as possible. Like it's just being a middleman HR man essentially.
Yeah, and I know Bruce was getting some crap for wanting Adam Cole to change his name and possibly cut his hair. But he knows that's what Vince wants.
Right.
Yeah.
Like that's probably not what he wants. That's just knowing that's what Vince wants. He knows you're not going to have two Coles. I mean, for whatever stupid reason. Football, all these other UFC, you have people with the same last name. But Pritchard knows Vince's nuances, and he just knew that that's what Vince would want.
Yeah, I think they just don't have a creative process. I don't think this has anything to do with Bruce. You need to look at WrestleMania the year before and see how you want to end it and build it backwards. And get every character should have their own writer, sit down with the character. What do you want your character to be? Let's express that. Right now, it feels like they're booking week to week, and they don't know what to do with these people, and it shows.
Yeah.
Mostly week to week. It's a repeat of the week before. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, I think Bruce is also like his talent's part of his tough spot. I think he's one of the few over the year. I mean, look, Patterson's not around anymore. Well, obviously, rest in peace, Pat Patterson. But even before Pat's death, Pat had kind of removed himself. Was like a special consultant that showed up on big events. Briscoe removed a lot. Just a lot of the old guard. Bruce is one of the few that like came back after a long time of being away. He's one of the few that can speak Vince. He can. Like to what Roger's saying. He knows what Vince is going to react to, and so whether you agree with it or not, if you just need to like. Make it efficient. Like, all right, Vince is not going to go for this, no matter what you think. So how can I do this? So, I think to his benefit, he knows how to speak Vince, so he has a high-paying job that's there, but it makes him publicly put in a bad light because he can be viewed as the bad messenger.
Right.
All right, we got AJ and Omos versus the Dirty Dogs. This was a lot of Omos, maybe the most in terms of the ratio of what he did compared to AJ in the match. I was definitely psyched about the Omos power and size combined with the Dolph selling ability if Dolph wants to do so. Omos did that. AJ would get the win, capping it off with the AJ Phenomenal forearm. Issa, AJ and Omos. This is a heel tag team versus a heel tag team. What was we're really establishing Omos here. Do we have an end game in sight? Are we looking at a split? Are we looking at what are we doing here?
I mean, hopefully, I want to see AJ Styles back in the singles division. But at the same time, tonight was the first night that I had to go, oh, wait, we have tag teams, right? You have AJ, Omos, RK Bro. You have the Street Profits, Alpha Academy. Raw is slowly, the Dirty Dogs, I hate the name, but Raw is slowly building a tag division again. So, I mean, it's basically formed with single guys that you put into makeshift tag teams, but we have a tag team division again. It's good to see Omos grow. He's still not fully there for me, and I'm pretty sure that's why they're still keeping him with AJ. But you can see his confidence growing, and he's getting better and better every week. So this partnership is helping him.
I like Omos. He's a guilty pleasure of mine. I've always liked I always like wrestling being diverse in that you don't have to be a great worker. Sometimes you just have guys that are, freakishly big, and sometimes you have guys that are, just freakishly muscular, whatever. But I'm a fan of Omos. He's improving every week. I think the stuff with AJ has really helped him. And when they do him and Orton, the fans pop whenever they're in the ring and they tease it. The fans want to see it. Mm-hmm. So I feel like they've been doing a good job. It's not going to be everyone's cup of tea. If you like the Okada 5-star matches, it's not going to be your cup of tea. But as for me, I'm a big fan of entertainment, and I'm a big fan.
Yeah, I'm with you, Raj. I'm with. Yeah, I like the entertainment. I'm very much on the airport test. Do they make the head turn when they walk through the airport? I'm with you. And sometimes they aren't the best of workers, but I do think he's a guy who he's maybe the best protected guy they've done in a while, because I do feel like you put him with AJ, he's going to learn a lot. They've not rushed it. They've just kind of, I feel like they are trying to set him up for success. Kind of maybe Braun Strowman, maybe before him. Braun was a guy, again, had no TV matches before debuting as being a part of the Wyatt family. They protected the hell out of him. And then when they decided to just unleash him as a babyface single star, they did everything they could do to teach him and protect him in the time. And ultimately, it looked fine to him. He got cut because he got cut and budgets or whatever. But I'm with you. I think, I like the big freakish size. I like the circus aspect. And if we can teach him how to work, bonus.
He moves well. Yeah, he's got the tools. He's a natural athlete. He played basketball, so yeah. I'm curious. It is hard to work with someone that size. I remember Giant Gonzalez. You cannot get him, but he was bad too. Like Omos is showing a lot more, but
hopefully he has better ring gear. That's for sure.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, when Undertaker will not dance around the subject of acknowledging that's his worst match ever, and it's at a Mania.
He had fur patched on all over the suit, which and like in the the Manscaped area where there's no Manscaped going on there.
Oh no!
We have to figure out how to work Giant Gonzalez into a Manscaped read. All right, main event time: Bobby Lashley versus Rey Mysterio, with of course Dominic ringside. Rey still over like Rover as he is. Lashley's going to use his power. Great sequence to end here. Rey frog splash off the top. Again, Lashley uses the power to scoop him up. Transitions into the hurt lock. Rey taps. So Lashley wins. Adam Pearce comes out and says, "Oh, Rey's in such bad condition. We got to remove him from Team Raw." And then Austin Theory comes out, attacks Dominic. Adam Pearce likes that. He commends this kind of behavior, which is kind of opposite to what he was preaching earlier in the night. But nonetheless, he likes this behavior from Austin
consistently
Theory.
Inconsistent.
Exactly.
Austin Theory taking some selfies. Austin Theory is going to replace Rey for Team Raw. this Sunday. Raj, thoughts on the main event here?
First of all, why does Adam Pearce care so much about Raw winning? He's the same role on both shows. He's an executive on Raw and SmackDown. So why should he care about Raw needing to win?
Maybe he put some money on Raw.
Maybe, yeah, but you don't say that on TV.
Maybe he dropped some money. Maybe he's got a weekly report due to Vince. He's got.
But you would think he'd have that for SmackDown too. SmackDown's the A show. So anyway, I think that part. I hate the heel GM thing. It's been overdone to death. It has been a while since they've last done it. I don't see why they don't just have Adam Pearce on Raw, Sonya Deville SmackDown. Just keep them split,
right?
Exclusive.
It will make more sense.
Well, that would. But here's the other thing. They kind of tipped their hand, and the pandemic always screws my timing. I think it was December of 2018. Was December 2018 when Stephanie, Shane, and Vince, I think even Triple H, they all took the ring, and they were like, "We're gonna take the show back," and like they booted Baron Corbin, who had been the de facto authority figure. Right. It was like when
he was the reason.
Constable
Corey. He was the reason the ratings had been dropping.
It was like when viewership took like the most sharpest plunge, and they said, "Okay, we're gonna get back to this," and obviously that didn't really. But the one thing that was believable about them doing that was, okay, everybody in this ring, Triple H included by marriage, is a McMahon. We know these are the decision makers at the end of the day. So I'll buy into that. We know saddling Baron Corbin, Sonya Deville, Adam Pearce, Paige, Teddy Long, whoever else, Eric Bischoff, they don't have any real power. So my biggest thing I would say is stop a Sonya. I know you're trying to get her a reason to be on camera, and her career and everything took a crazy turn or whatever. And Adam, whatever. But like at the end of the day, if you want to make this work for me, I know Stephanie's there. She's chief brand officer and she's got things going on. Shane's in and out, whatever. Triple H, who the hell knows what's going on there? Put a McMahon. You have enough McMahons. Put one of them out there because that's at least going to make me believe something. Because I know that at the end of the day, it's a McMahon whose last name is assigned to the bank account. That's what I don't get. You actually have real life people who are part of this dynasty, this family dynasty, and you're trying to attach retired wrestlers or inactive wrestlers as makeshift authority figures. Like, stop it.
I love that you said that because when it was Adam Pearce doing the video package for like fining Brock Lesnar $1 million, I was like, yeah, like he's not gonna call Vince and be like, I'm not paying that. You know, like
right.
Storyline wise, that's what I would assume will happen.
Right.
I don't think that Brock is gonna listen to Adam Pearce. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it just I mean pretty much everything I said. It makes no sense. It makes no sense for him to be so wanting Raw to win when he's the same role on both shows. And
Raj, do you think Vince has watched one Ring of Honor match of Adam Pearce?
Oh God, no. Do you think Vince has ever watched AEW? A whole episode?
No, not a whole. I bet you he's seen clips. He's never watched the whole episode.
Yeah.
Do you think Vince knows that Adam Pearce is a trained wrestler?
They did book that match with him and Roman for a minute, and then they got out of it. But yeah, probably not.
Probably not.
By the way, real quick before we wrap it up, have you guys ever seen this? Have you ever seen? I think it's from like it's 07, right after Mania 23. Have you ever seen the clip of Vince showing up at the indie show, John Cena's father, the indie show where John Cena's working as a special ref? Issa, have you seen this?
Yes.
I just saw it like a week, like in the last week.
Yeah.
It's a great clip of Vince McMahon, 2007. So like he's not 76-year-old Vince, but he's still Vince, like well beyond the Attitude Era, well beyond the war. They're a publicly traded company, and he shows up unannounced and like endorses this indie wrestler, and he takes and Cena FUs him at this, in front of 100 people in Massachusetts.
At first, I thought that was photoshopped. And I was like, "Oh my God, that's real."
I always think to myself, "Oh, what was the backstage like? What?
Oh my gosh! I mean, he was probably choppered out right after that.
Yeah, right. Mike, $2. Bobby has the best physique in wrestling. A star, of course, talking Bobby Lashley. Hard to argue with that. We have Danny Cho again. Thanks, Danny, for the support. Could you guys give us your expert analysis comparing and contrasting the Great Khali and Giant Gonzalez?
Khali had he had way more staying power. That's for sure. I mean, Gonzalez was there for what, like 6-7 months?
Yeah.
93.
Yeah, just 93.
I mean, if I had to pick one that I have to watch, I would say Khali. But I would have to be forced.
Khali's debut was impactful.
Yeah.
He destroyed Undertaker.
Yeah, he did. Punjabi prison match, and yeah, I mean he had Giant Gonzalez,
He destroyed the Undertaker too in a different way.
I mean, like he date rape drugged the Undertaker, right?
Right. He used that formaldehyde or whatever that was.
Chloroform or whatever.
Right, chloroform, yeah. But Khali beat Undertaker. Gonzalez never did.
Yeah.
Like he pinned him. Like he squashed Taker early on.
The man behind John Gonzalez had a so-so career prior to being a WWE. Like he was
El Gigante.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah. And then he like died. He got sick.
He passed away.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He had that gigantism that Andre had. He never had it taken out like Big Show had it.
But he's like the legit. Even Khali, he's like the legit tallest guy.
Yeah, he was close to 8. He was close to 8 feet tall.
Wow.
And that's the attraction.
8, I think
that's the attraction. This is the circus thing of it. That's the attraction. Like,
yeah.
Come see this guy.
Right. No, except the outfit that WWE gave him just was same as WCW also gave him a goofy outfit where he looked like he was like a space tag or something. I don't know. It just looked goofy as hell.
Yeah, par for WCW. All right, so that was Raw. So Austin Theory has joined Team Raw. All right, Team Raw. So we'll get into it real quick here. Predictions. Team Raw. Seth Rollins, Finn Balor, Kevin Owens, Bobby Lashley, Austin Theory versus SmackDown, Drew McIntyre, Jeff Hardy, Xavier Woods, Happy Baron Corbin, and a mystery person to be announced. Issa, who do you got?
I'm going to go with Team Raw.
Same here.
Yeah, I'll go with Team Raw as well. Although I don't know how.
I wish we were more excited to talk about this, but the lack of the build-up is just like, all right, we'll pick one. Because what can we talk about?
There's no stakes in this match.
They didn't even do an invasion. Like outside of the Usos, they did nothing.
This was the laziest build I've ever seen for a pay-per-view. Ever.
Raj is in New York, so I'm doing the post-Survivor Series podcast here. I'm going to watch, obviously, because I have to. I'm going to be the least invested in this match. I'm going to be, snacking.
I'll text you. I'll text you from the arena.
Yes, I'll be snacking on I'll be snacking on a treat, pouring a drink, doing something, multitasking. So I right now my investment is minimal for this one.
Yeah.
All right, Team Raw across the board. All right, women's side, Team Raw: Bianca, Rhea, Liv, Carmella, Zelina versus SmackDown: Sasha, Shayna, Shotzi, Natalya. To be announced. Is Raw take it again?
I think SmackDown. Just to have balance.
I'm very torn on this one. I would like to. I wish we knew what the team are, right? But I'm going to say SmackDown with a little bit of doubt.
Plus, I also think. I mean, we'll get to these ones here in a second, but I think SmackDown's winning the men's side with the big match, and then Raw's winning with the Becky and Charlotte. So that's why I think probably SmackDown here.
All right, so we're going to 50-50 this pay-per-view. So SmackDown for the women's. All right. Damian Priest, U.S. champ versus Shinsuke Nakamura, IC champ. Issa, I know this is...
I'm not going to do this. Ask Raj.
No, you have to answer.
Damian Priest has to win.
Damian Priest has to win. I'm just going to be sad to see Shinsuke lose.
All right, RK Bro. I agree. Priest. RK Bro versus the Usos for the tag champions up against each other here. This one, guys, this is actually pretty interesting because both tag teams are heavily pushed on each side.
Yeah.
So Issa, where do you like? I mean, is it back to my theory earlier? Are we starting the RK Bro problems? I mean, the Usos aren't going to break up. They're part of the family here.
We saw Riddle take a pin today, so I'm going to say the Usos. The Usos lose. I think RK Bro win, and it's going to be Randy Orton who gets the win. I don't see them letting them lose twice because RK Bro is very protected.
That's the Raj booking. Raj?
I agree. Same thing. Exactly the same.
All right. I'll get behind it. All right. We'll do Big E WWE champion versus your Universal champion,
Come on.
Roman Reigns. Go
Come
ahead,
on,
Issa.
Come on, LaBar. Come on. You don't even have to ask this one. Roman Reigns.
Roman's not he hasn't been beaten in over a year. They're not going to have him lose a nothing Survivor Series.
All right. Well, next level. Does he pin
Yes.
Big
Yes.
E?
Yeah. He wins clean. Or semi-clean.
Wait. Define clean. You're
Yeah,
telling me
Usos might interfere. New Day might, Xavier might come in, but Roman,
so shenanigans, but Roman.
Yeah.
possibly.
Roman wins.
All right. I'll get behind that one. All right. So here's maybe one that might just divide us all. Becky Lynch versus Charlotte Flair. All right. Do we get a Brooklyn Screwjob? Like, what's happening here between these two ladies?
Becky wins.
I agree. I think Becky wins. And again, I think it's pretty clean, straightforward, no gaga. So, yeah.
Really?
I think once I saw Becky beat Bianca in 26 seconds at SummerSlam, and then they let her beat her again, they're behind the Becky machine, unanimously.
And plus, I'm sure Charlotte has some heat over how things went down a couple weeks ago. So
Nah.
I don't think it'd be a big influence in the decision, but you're not. I don't see them beating Becky right now.
Yeah.
Becky's one of the hottest things in the company. She's.
I agree, and I love Becky. And by the way, just shout out to her. She's in phenomenal shape. But I don't know. Like, Charlotte is Charlotte, and I get heat over things that happen. I get that it probably doesn't help that her fiance's outspoken and with the competition, but like, I don't know. You still have Charlotte Flair there for a long while. You gotta keep that. You gotta keep her happy to an extent. I don't know.
Charlotte Flair got pinned by Nikki Ash. They will never let Nikki Ash beat Becky.
Oof.
I agree.
I'd argue with that one. All right, closing argument goes to Issa. All right, I'm up in the air. I'll tweet my prediction come that time. I don't know where I'm gonna.
Wow, but you made me answer. Okay,
Yes.
I see how it is.
So Issa, have we disagreed on any yet? Because I was going to say
No.
we should bet shots. So when we're in New York,
We're still gonna do shots no matter what.
All right.
Get Issa sex on the beach. All right, I'm middle square, so I have control. So I get to opt out of having to pick. I make you choose, Issa. So I make you choose your alliance. Choose your side. That's gonna do it for tonight. Issa, give the hard plug. Where can everybody find you?
NYC Demon Diva on Twitter and YouTube. Getting really close to 15,000 subscribers, so please subscribe.
You got your Twitter handle back.
No, it's with a 1.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
No, I'll never get it back.
Oh, on the screen it says just.
I know, I forgot to change it.
Okay.
All right, gotcha.
All right, so give people the right. Spell it out. What's the right one for the?
It's NYC Demon Diva with a 1 instead of an I. But NYC Demon Diva, the way that is on the screen, that's my Instagram handle.
There you go.
There we go. All right. Well, you said 15,000
Yeah.
for YouTube. Wow, that's great.
Nice.
Go you.
Thank you.
Go you. All right, Raj.
Keep checking out WrestlingInc.com. We got new interviews. We had R-Truth just the other day. We got Matt Cardona. So ton of cool stuff. Jeff Jarrett coming up this week. So yeah, keep checking out WrestlingInc.com.
Very good. And hang on, Michael the Virus. LaBar needs head like. Hang on.
Oh no. Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no.
We have loyal viewers. You can when I'm not on Busted Open or not on Wrestling Inc. You can find me on Busted Open.
No.
No. That's intense.
Amazing.
If that doesn't scare the bugs away, I don't know what will. All right. I'll be back Sunday night post Survivor Series here on Wrestling Inc. I'm on Friday morning. I'll be on Busted Open Radio talking that. Wednesday night I'll be back with Alfred after AEW. So you have no problem being subjected to me. It's been great. Thanks to everybody for all the wonderful comments and super chats. Thanks for all the likes, subscribes, do the thing. You can tell a friend, tell a friend, tell a friend. That's how it all works. We appreciate it. And thanks to Manscaped.com for all the support. WINC 20% off, free shipping at Manscaped.com. NXT, post NXT show Tuesday, post AEW Wednesday, post SmackDown Friday. The list goes on and on. WrestlingInc.com. The world goes around. We do not stop. We do not sleep. She's Issa. He's Raj. I'm Justin. Thanks, everybody. Have a good night.